And welcome to another week. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I've got it set so we're not going to hear so much vibration, and hopefully you're hearing something like that. All right. So apologies for last week. I was trying out a restreaming service which was sending the stream to both YouTube and Twitch, and there were no local Japanese servers, so I was trying to do it to a Korean server and it just wasn't fast enough. So very, very slow, and I didn't even have, on Twitch, I didn't even have the account actually recording or caching the stream, so it was totally lost anyhow. So the video you saw last week was very choppy, and the audio I guess was okay, but the video itself was very delayed because the bandwidth just wasn't handling it very well. So apologies for that. So this is only YouTube this week, and hopefully that will help everything sound better and look better and actually move in real time. Yeah, so just an experiment, and I guess once they have domestic servers for Japan, I'll give it another try, but until then there doesn't seem to be much point if the results are going to be that, that choppy, that laggy. But we are another week, so it's finally winter cold now in Japan, just in time for me to go to Tokyo tomorrow. The Kage Manga show, the foreign creator comic show, is happening this week. Thursday is a national holiday, so they're holding the show on Thursday. So it's just a one-day show, and yeah, so they invite some foreign creators, and last year they had a really nice live drawing session where they had 4 of the kind of most famous artists that they invited, just doing a live drawing that they put on a video projector kind of above the show, and just kind of quartered it so you could see each artist working, and that was really fun. That was fun to watch, and yeah, very nice event. So hopefully they'll do something fun like that again this year. But yeah, it was a nice event, and that wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago. And so yeah, we will see how it goes this year. So this year I will have t-shirts for Citizen Spaceman and the reprint of the Appropriate Responses book. I sold out of that earlier this year, and so I had that reprinted and have that. Yeah, that's another bilingual book that seems to do well at shows. And yeah, that's about it. It's still, the 3rd Spaceman book isn't going to be ready for the end of this year, so it's going to have to be early next year. So spring next year, because there's just a lot more involved in getting it produced. Not only do I have to write it and draw it, but it has to get translated as well, so that delays things. And then I have to relay it out for, to fit the translation. So that slowed things down, and so we've got the first 2 books for Spaceman, the collection, Domestic Abuse collection, and then the Appropriate Responses book for this show, as well as some new t-shirts. So hopefully that'll do well, and that'll be enough. Yeah, and then the week after that is the Tokyo Comic-Con. So I'll post the information on Twitter and everything as far as the table. It's Artist Alley. The Artist Alley in the Kage Manga show at Big Sight this Thursday. And then it will be Artist Alley again the following week for that whole weekend of December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So that's the show schedule for this month, and yeah, I guess it's let's get started here. hopefully sound and video quality is a bit better than it was last week. So I'll probably occasionally throw a few of those curveballs into this, trying to find better ways to do this, and find ways to stream and to get some more services involved and kind of get the stream out there. But that isn't going to be an option quite yet unless I get a much better internet connection. But hopefully the hum is down a little bit. I played with the gain on the microphone and kind of the insulation on the table. Traffic is really bad today though, so hopefully you're not hearing too much of that. But actually, let me check really quickly how we're sounding online. No, it's still... Yeah, so that's gonna have to do. It's a little bit better, but I think we're still humming a bit. I hear the boo. So I'm not quite sure. I might just have to have a different microphone configuration. Maybe on the table in front of me isn't going to work. It kind of works best for the camera position and everything I have now, but I can reverse the camera angle and try some other things and see how that works. Yeah, to try to change that situation a bit. And maybe if I have, I don't know, that angle will be pretty bizarre. Because if I put something here, if I put a camera here, you're going to be like staring right at my forehead. The sound will be okay, but the picture will be a little horrific. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah. So let's see. So let's get warmed up here and get a few ideas going. So what I was mainly thinking about and kind of wanted to talk about in this stream was something that kind of keeps coming up with people I know, and I guess it's just something that anybody trying to do creative work or trying to start with a 9-to-5 job and then in their extra time work on their creative endeavors and then try to turn that into a full-time thing. I think there's a problem that a lot of people have, that it's kind of an identity thing. I think a lot of people want to call themselves comic book artists or illustrators or animators or whatever, or just artist, because that's their identity. Like maybe growing up, that's what they gain the most attention doing. So they've gotten the most kind of positive feedback from those their creative endeavors at doing anything that way. So they start to identify that way, and the problem is so they want a creative life, or they want to make a living from doing their work or doing something creative, but they don't ever commit to it. So it's kind of this it's always this unhappy thing in their life because they've never been able to, it's what they want to do, but they've never been able to pursue it completely. And I guess I'm not quite explaining this well, but it's just people that call themselves or want to be creative don't dedicate the time to it, because you're not going to achieve anything, or you're not going to get better at doing anything without the work, without outputting the work. And if you have a lot of excuses, oh, I'm just so busy, I've got a regular day job, I just don't have the time. If you don't commit, I don't know what this is, if you don't commit some time and some energy to that work, then it's you're not going to ever accomplish anything, and then you're going to spend your whole time being frustrated about what you could have done, or what, I really feel like a failure as an artist because I haven't made money doing it, or I haven't been able to develop a career doing it. But if you keep letting even the smallest thing get in your way, and I'm not really talking about procrastination, it's more people "Oh, I wish I could draw more. I wish I could, draw every day." Well, there is nothing stopping you from drawing every day. I mean, if you have a 9 to 5 job and you have kids, you need to commit time to getting your kids to school. You need to do work. You're just going to have to take away from something, and usually that's going to be your sleeping time. You're just going to have to sacrifice some sleep and get up earlier and spend like that first hour of your day drawing and actually producing something. And if you're a writer, writing, like, you have to kind of just carve some time out and make that the time that you do it, and commit to that as just part of your life and part of your schedule. And if you don't do that, it's just not going to happen. And hating yourself for it, or keep wanting to identify yourself as an artist when you don't do anything is just damaging. I think it's just gonna fuel your depression, or your self-hatred, or things like that. It's so you really have to commit. You either have to do it or not do it. And I'm afraid there's a lot of people kind of stuck into it's what I've always wanted to do. It's kind of how I identify myself, and it's maybe the thing that they helps them survive their kind of miserable 9 to 5 job, because this is the escape. This is what someday they'll do, or someday, or it will just the thought of having that waiting for you makes the kind of miserable 9 to 5 kind of thing possible. But there comes a point where you have to commit to it, or it's just nothing's ever going to happen. And so that's why a lot of the most successful creative people are not married. They don't have kids. They live, or had to live at some point, incredibly modestly and very very uncomfortably, because they just needed to devote the time to their creative life. And it's difficult, because a lot of people see the solution to that being a creative job. So get a job, not exactly what you want to do, but something in animation or illustration or design, or something that feels like you're doing something creative. But then you run into the problem of that saps all of your energy. And if you're doing something creative during the day, then at night with your own personal work, you're going to be exhausted and just have no energy to do anything, or devote anything to yourself. So the best way to kind of utilize, to take advantage of that, is to do it for a limited time, and basically just either use that job to learn some skills, or just to get yourself up to a really high capacity of being able to produce quickly and work quickly and efficiently. And then you're going to have to just turn off that day job. You're just have to change what you're doing, and be able to devote all your energy into your own work. So just kind of use that situation to gain the skills, or the speed, or the efficiency at what you're doing, and then try to turn that into your own work, energy and motivation for your own work. Because it's very rare that people are able to balance both of those things well. It's changing a little bit in the digital age, because we're at this strange age of the daily drawing Instagram artist. A lot of those people are using their warm-up work and just little things that they do before they actually do their paid work. And yeah, so we've got a lot of that. And so and that's the thing that you're up against as well. It's not, I mean, things have changed so much since kind of the dawn of all this, digital art and painting, and people are really producing, I mean, are incredibly prolific and just producing an amazing amount of work online. I mean, just the fact of a daily illustration. I mean, there's some, digital painters and illustrators that daily produce gorgeous work, gorgeous, rich, complicated, finished work. And those are just kind of their quick kind of, warm-up exercises. And so you're up against, a lot of people producing a lot of work. So to get attention in that kind of situation, or to get noticed, is not going to be easy, and you're going to have to be realistic about that. But I think it's just dangerous to cling so hard to that identity of an artist, and you're just constantly disappointing yourself if you're not, and most of the time you don't even have realistic goals, but if you're not reaching some kind of goal that you have for your career or your work itself. And so you're just constantly unhappy, or constantly using it. And maybe a lot of people, that's just built into their personality. They're kind of self-hating, self-punishing, part of their personality just loves that, because they always have something to hate about themselves. They always have something that they failed at. And I think you just have to make the sacrifices, and that's not what anybody wants to hear, I think, about anything. But you have to damage yourself, damage your health, or damage your relationship with your family, or damage your your work, your day job, by taking away from it and just kind of sabotaging it to feed your work. And that's not particularly a great thing to do, but you don't have much choice. The other choice is just to give up, and just give up on the idea of ever doing your own creative work, and just be satisfied with your graphic design job, or whatever freelance you can maintain, or whatever. And that's just the reality of it, and just what you have to do. And I just think there's too many people frustrated and hating themselves because they wish they were doing something, or they have this dream of work they want to do, stories they want to tell, and they just don't dedicate any time to it. And that's basically what it takes. It just takes the time and energy. And unfortunately, people's lives end up leading them to have no time, or have no there's just no place for their creative work. And so the best advice for those people is just to give up, just to stop trying, because you're only going to make yourself, or stop not trying, but stop thinking that someday you're going to do this, because it's only going to be a point of frustration and sadness in your life that you never did that. So you either have to do it or not, and just suffer the consequences. Just whatever you kind of steal from to make that creative life work, just accept the damage that causes. And that's not easy. I mean, those aren't easy choices to make. Why did I draw on that layer? But it's just, that's all that you can do. And just beating yourself up about, oh, I need to draw every day, I need to do this, I need to do that. It kind of, it starts to sound annoyingly like people that, want to get into shape, or want to lose some weight, or, want to get healthier or whatever. It's just, oh yeah, I gotta start running, I gotta start doing this. So it just starts sounding very empty, and just kind of meaningless. They're still identifying as, oh yeah, I'm a healthy person, or I'm a person that wants to be healthy, but I just never make the time, and I won't eat right, and I won't do anything about it, and so it never happens. And it's the same thing with your creative work. You just have to commit to it, or just like I don't think people ever consciously do this. Everybody always says, yeah, I'm going to lose that weight, but I think if people could just say, yeah, I'm just going to be this fat, I'm just going to try not to get more fat than this, or I'm going to be this unhealthy, and just not worry about it until there's some health consequences for that. But yeah, it's a difficult thing, and I'm afraid that a lot of the current thinking, kind of current atmosphere, people's identity, like their beliefs, like who they think they are and what they think they should be, they hold on to those really, really tight, and they can't think realistically about it. And if anybody challenges them as far as you know well, you say you're an artist, you say you're this, you say you're a musician or whatever, but you never do it. So how does that work? I mean, that's ego shattering, or that's quite a crisis, a personal crisis. Kind of confronting that sort of attitude or that sort of opinion. And I think there's a lot of that. I think people's politics and everything more recently, they don't have they're holding it so close to them, and they're identifying so deeply with their beliefs that they may have just gotten from somewhere else, and they can't accept. So if you disagree with someone's opinion, or you don't like somebody's work creatively, that's a personal attack on them. You're attacking them as a person, and I think that's really unhealthy. I think that's really dangerous. I think people's work and their selves are separate things, and I think you can do lousy work and still be a good, worthwhile person, or vice versa. You can do amazing work and be a piece of garbage. But for people to identify so strongly with certain things, and then have it be so such an attack, such a personal attack when people don't agree with you, is really unhealthy. And I think that's what causes a lot of the kind of toxic, miserable behavior you see. People online, and people at universities and things, now they're identifying so deeply with some belief system that it's personal. It's become part of them, and it never is. Your belief system should never be something that can't change, something that you can't reevaluate or reconsider. And that should be the goal of any kind of free thinking person, is to constantly be challenging your beliefs, and seeing how those things work in your life or how they don't work. So yeah, the same thing is kind of true creatively, is being able to change and being able to grow, and not sticking too hard to a certain way of doing things, or a certain way to express yourself. I think is pretty important creatively. But yeah, I guess the 2 points aren't so closely related. They were just kind of two things I was thinking about, as people that want to identify as creative but don't do any work. I guess that's like the classic, when you talk about fashion or style or trends or whatever, the classic kind of poser, like the person that wants to look the part but isn't the part, doesn't do the thing. And so I guess there's a lot of situations where people do that, but the people that have more genuine, honest motives, they actually want to be creative, they want to do something, and they're just not able to do that. They're not able to make that fit into their life, and then beat themselves up for it. I think that's a thing I'm more specifically thinking about, and the thing that is kind of damaging to your whole life, because the thing you have to, I guess, just overall as a person, is just be happy and involved in the place you are, in the situation you're in. And we spend so much of our lives, going to school and working kind of temporary jobs and living in starter homes and doing things that are just a temporary thing, and we hope someday that things will change or things will be more the way we want them. And that that mentality, I think if you do that for too long, it really starts to mess with you, because then everything in your life, no matter how close to what you want it becomes, or how happy or unhappy you are, you're just never there. You're always thinking about the next thing that you're going to do, the next place you're going to live, and so you're never there enjoying where you are. And yeah, that can be pretty damaging, because you're just never, you're always looking, and I don't even think, not even thinking about career or things like that, but just kind of the situation of your life. If you can't have some sort of appreciation of where you are and enjoy being at the moment, on the day that you're there and in your life, then yeah, you just cause a lot of damage. I mean, maybe it helps some people stay motivated to do better, to make more money, to become more socially mobile, to become more prosperous, but yeah, I think ultimately then you lose your appreciation for anything. And so no matter how successful you are, it's never enough, and you're never happy, you're never satisfied with it. And just being able to appreciate where you've gotten, or where you are, I think is really important, and it helps ground you a bit, in your creativity. I mean, it's important to always be pushing yourself creatively, but to have some sort of foundation so that you can't have everything knocked out from underneath you, I think is good. So we have various glasses. But yeah, that was just kind of what was on my mind about that, is, people wanting to identify as something that they never will become because they just don't commit themselves to it, I think is a sad thing. And we all have to be kind of careful falling into that trap. And it's just, how we do, live in certain ways in our life. Like I was saying, like, early life, everything is so temporary and nothing is yours. And you're just constantly thinking about, the day when I do this, the day when I have this. And when you finally achieve that, when you finally have that, it's meaningless, because then you're just looking for the next step. You're looking for the next step up. And yeah, I think that's not healthy. I don't think that's very good. Overall, I mean, it may, it causes people to perform at a high level, but never having any satisfaction. And I think that's a big part of why we should do what we do, is to reach some sort of satisfied level. So thinking about things not being what they say. Yeah, I think that. It's a spoon. Oof. Oh. Yeah, it's a hard thing to figure out, and I think that the self-examination that can be part of creative work is such a good thing when figuring that kind of stuff out, because I think when you figure things out in one area of your life, it can have a positive effect in other areas. Once you figure out how to be, satisfied as an artist or satisfied as a person, those things can feed each other. I don't think I want to be doing that. Yeah. Maybe this is what's bugging me. Yeah, so yeah, but we're definitely in a weird time as far as creativity goes, because it is, so much of it is happening online now for people, and there's so many places where you can post work and get feedback, and most of the feedback is just meaningless. It's just people, and just like anything, when you post photos of your life or whatever on social media, and people like it and say wow, and no, you're so great, and we're you're so lucky and everything. That's the same mentality that seems to happen with posting work online now. So you're not getting any real constructive feedback. It's either you're amazing or you're a piece of garbage. And yeah, so that's a little bit hard to keep your head about you in this, with that sort of weird situation. Yeah, maybe this one. But yeah, but that's where it is, and that's the funny thing about I think they talk a lot about people fitting in the time that they live in, and unfortunately a lot of people don't. Their mentality or their thinking, they can never quite get in sync with how they're supposed to be, or how they how they should deal with the world as it is. So that's always yeah, that's always a little bit of a frustration. But yeah, you have to deal with what it is. You have to deal with the you want to work creatively, you have to deal with the job market as it is, and what people are going to pay you for that work, and those sorts of things. And that's yeah, that can be difficult. Yeah, if your expectations and kind of your just overall disposition doesn't match how they're doing things, yeah, that becomes hard. All right, see, I'm not in love with any of this, but let's do some coloring and see what happens. So the idea of pretending to be red, pretending to be what you're not. So the thing that I thought of was, yeah, a imposter. Oh, yeah, gotta turn up that tolerance a little bit. An imposter beverage. That was a funny idea. Someone convincing themselves, and then through that trying to convince others of being something. Actually, ooh, sorry about that. Hit the microphone. Let's see. All right. This. Oh. Try to do a lighter color up. So do we want to do the whole thing? Or just that? Yeah, we'll do the whole thing. Make this so maybe white. Up. That reads as foam, kind of. Oh, but this might not read as something like this. Yeah, that looks more like it. Yeah, I just don't want it to read as, condensation. So before, start writing a little bit of this. Fine whenever one of our grave is uncomfortable. Style. Lots of typos in there. Yeah. Declaring yourself a fine wine when everyone knows you are grape juice is an uncomfortable lifestyle. Yeah, something like that might work. We might go back and find that a little bit. Yeah, but I think, yeah, being whatever you want, but at least being honest with yourself about how hard you're trying or what you're committing, to do in your life, I think is the best approach, because, that kind of denial can only take you so far, and, whoa. I think it leads to a lot of unhappiness. So yeah, that was just kind of on my mind when thinking about what to talk about in this stream. And yeah, it's just something everybody has to deal with. I think a lot of people do very well being dishonest with themselves and dishonest with the world, and that is a means to a certain end, but I think it's a particularly happy or fulfilling one, and you're always going to feel the keeps happening. You're always going to feel the limitation or the kind of disingenuous part of that. Oh, almost. Yeah, so all those kinds of things, come up, all those, personal and identity issues and stuff come up in your creative life as well. So worth figuring out, because I think it can do, nothing but improve your work. Right. So let's. All right. Just kind of. Yeah. Uh, yeah. The trouble with the wine glass is with the eyes. I think I might have to give up that line, the top of the stem. Let that work like that, because then I can put eyes there. Might be more satisfying, or just, yeah, visually make a little bit more sense. It's always hard when put a little too much detail or something in there. So when I go to put the face on it, it just doesn't read very well. Makes sense. All right. I think that works. Little condensation water. Yeah, I think it's worth bothering. All right, and then shadows under. What am I gonna do here? How that read? Okay. See how this works. Yeah, that works. We'll do. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Uncomfortable lifestyle is a great way to end that. So declaring yourself a fine wine when everyone knows you're a grape juice is that, I might have to come back to that. So there we go. In here. Oh. Yeah, maybe it works with white. Declaring yourself a fine wine when everyone knows grape juice is quite an uncomfortable. Yeah, that works. About being something. All right. With that, yeah, so that was just the kind of basic idea. I don't want that going on in my head that I thought might work for this. Yeah, that works. All right, and let's save that and then go to. Oh, actually, this. All right. So let's see. Anything? Oh, here's red like. All right. I guess we'll just keep drawing and see what else we can. But yeah, it's a difficult balance, and it's a difficult thing. I think some people may be happier with just always being unsatisfied with their creative work and just, having that to always I don't know. That's an odd thing to do. But you have to do it and make the sacrifices for, for anything that you want in life. And so, yeah, creativity is nothing different. And I think the problem with it is that a lot of people, and I notice that in Japanese culture very much, they really devalue creative work because it's not work. It's just fun. You're just having fun. And I think if you talk to anybody that works at a Japanese animation studio, nobody's having fun. Or anybody that works in a studio that produces manga, people are not having fun. They are doing basically factory work, with pens and pencils, and that's the problem. There's a kind of a problem of perception, and even people that work creatively, if they get any enjoyment out of their work, it's a little bit guilty, and it's like, wow, I'm not really doing anything, am I? They don't kind of put it in the proper perspective or kind of give a value to what they're doing, and then it just distorts your commitment to it, and how you kind of place that in your life. So that's a difficulty, and yeah, you definitely see in Japan a huge undervalue, and just like no payment for the income for doing creative work is just ridiculous in Japan. So illustrators here work 10 times harder than illustrators anywhere else because the pay is 10 times less. So you have to be insanely motivated and willing to work for almost nothing. And the culture of not leaving home until you're married, in a lot of cases, in a lot of families here, helps to foster that, because if you don't have any rent or living expenses, you can make almost nothing for your work. And if your family likes the idea that you're working and you're contributing somehow to the family, to the household, then a lot of families are satisfied with that. But you're never gonna be on your own. You're never gonna feel like you're doing well enough to to get married or have a family or anything. So that's a difficult situation. And so I think companies here take advantage of that, and a lot of creative work is just done by exploited people, basically, that are just taking advantage of certain situations and certain just kind of peculiarities of the Japanese society to keep these people working for very little, because it's their dream. It's something that they always wanted to do. So they do that. They kind of in that way, though, they are making a sacrifice, because they're giving up ever having a normal life just to say, oh, I worked on this, I worked on this show, I worked on that show, I drew that character. And that may mean a lot to them, but I think ultimately, in their life, they're going to feel it lacking. Wow, that's a crazy lopsided thing. So yeah, that's a tough thing. But always, animation and now video games are looking for that cheap labor, that cheap committed labor that they can just get to work 7 days a week, cranking things out on schedules, and they need that to be as low paying as possible. So that's why, you know, TV animation and things, they relied on Korea for so long. And still do. And I just think that's, yeah, that's a sad thing. But yeah, that's a problem. I think it's a problem in a lot of people's thinking too, is they just don't give the proper value to creative work because it's not backbreaking, or, you know, it's not mind numbing, so it must not be work. There was a funny thing that I read about kind of management in Japan, and the kind of old man thinking that's built into so many Japanese companies now and their kind of management style. And one of the things that really stood out that I thought was very funny, you know, apart from the, you know, working ridiculous hours, and whoever works the longest is the, you know, stays the latest and works the longest during the day is the best employee. The attitude of management towards somebody new, or you know, lower down in the company, trying to innovate, trying to come up with you know, technology or software, or just something that would make things work better, would make things easier, or would be more efficient, is looked at as lazy, because it's not rolling up your sleeves and getting to work. It's just finding a way around hard work. And that was amazing. For me, that mentality is just so funny, and explains a lot why a lot of Japanese companies lack innovation, and they move very slowly, and they're not very dynamic. They can't adjust, you know, to markets and certain things. And a lot of that mentality may come from, you know, higher up, older men just wanting to maintain their jobs and not become obsolete. You know, never expose their inability to learn new things and adopt new techniques, and you know, adapt technology to what they're doing to make things you know, work better. So I think that's really funny. I was just so surprised by that thinking, that you know, people have to deal with that. I mean, that's their reality. That's their company that they're in, that looks at them lazy when they don't work 18-hour days and lie about, you know, overtime because the company is making them work an illegal amount of it. And just, yeah, it's just ridiculous. So short-sighted, and that's something that I never expected Japan to be. I think that was something that I always thought was an American, you know, disorder, is just the very limited thinking about, well, this is quick, easy money, and it's not going to last forever, but it's going to make us rich now. I thought that was a very American thing, but it seems to, oh, excuse me, it seems to affect the Japanese well. And yeah, that just has to be so frustrating. That kind of backwards thinking, and, you know, kind of you know, over political thinking, as far as, like, you know, protecting their job, protecting their position, and protecting their authority, you know, their credibility. So amazing. So I don't know what's going on here. Book and yeah, something. Yeah, maybe there's something to that funny idea about protecting the truth of your obsolescence, or your you know, better ways to do things. A book works well. It's old technology. I've always done that, books versus things. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure what would be a good contrast though, and I don't know what a spoon is doing there. Hmm. All right. Keep thinking here. Oh. All right, gosh. I am awake. I'm awake. I swear. Oh. I think this is Vaseline, kind of. Ugh. Mm. There's the book. Ah. Yeah. Something books. Yeah, so I should either be talking or drawing, and I'm not doing either. Thinking doesn't translate well. Dream. Ooh, don't it? Oh. So, yeah, something to contrast the, limited technology of the book. Hmm. Yeah, let's try. I think this is a thing I've done a few times, but we'll do a reader. Still have hardware buttons? I don't say. Do in this case. There we go. Oh, look at that big screen. Alright, I think that reads well enough. Oh, and it's on the same layer. Look at that. Okay. Maybe putting... No, it's not really sitting in it. Well, I guess I can extend or something. It kind of explain that. Hmm. Ah, where's the other? Oh, there it is. Just kind of center this a little bit. All right. Okay, book versus e-reader again. Yeah, let's put a bookmark in the book. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I guess that's going to be the top of the book. Yeah, I guess that works. Yeah. Spine is on the far side. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Alright, we'll just go simply with that and try to save it in the joke. Try page. It's a little red or yellow. And then few different colors for the right. The title written like so and so. There we go. Actually, maybe that and as it is. Okay, something like that. Make that bookmark bright red. I don't know why. So it's seen, I suppose. All right. Plastic. And yeah, just to not make it too new technology, I'll make the screen that horrible green. All right. Retro looking reader. There we go. Sort of something on the display. All right. Okay, so we'll stay on that layer. And hide all those little marching ants. Okay. And then I guess we can shadows to see how this looks. Yeah. Works. Book. Like that. Okay. Whoa, again. I don't know how I keep doing that. Yeah. Every time. Some weird touch control that bumps the mode, and it's not anything I can control here. I just lose my tabs. There, okay. I lose my tabs on the document. Ridiculous. More fun with touchscreen, touch capabilities. Oops, that's not gonna work. Okay, let's just color it white and up the side. Broken. Do a line. Highlight. Pick. All right. And some light for the. All right. Yeah, that works. Really glossy. Jeez, I'm in. All right. And maybe the kickstand. That's not that, but maybe. All right. So we have our outdated green LCD e-reader and our paper. Oops. Broken line. All right. All right. Gotta talk in here. Yeah, so just the idea of a book finding an e-reader lazy is gonna be our gimmick for this one. That's a funny bit of nonsense. Book just staring off into the distance. And maybe he's making him so sad. Something like that. There we go. Ah, all right. Yeah. All right, so let's write this. So I think paperback, we'll call him the paperback. Of electronic book. Alright. Paperback just thought of electronic pages and marks as lazy. What else? Yeah, so I don't know if I'm quite hitting that that idea, but yeah, I like that idea of innovation and different formats and newer things just being thought of as lazy because because they lack the you know, difficulty or the yeah, the hard work of the previous version. A lot of electronic page. One more thing, yeah. So electronic is hmm. Electronic books. Electronic books with their the paperback. Just thought of electronic books with their digital pages and bookmarks as lazy. The paperback just thought of electronic books with their digital pages and bookmarks. Hmm. Yeah, something about, you know, the manual labor of turning pages. I think is there's something funny there, but I'm not sure if I'm quite getting it here. Oh, the chat keeps disconnecting on YouTube. I don't know what that's about. Hmm. Sorry about that. If you're trying to connect to the chat, it seems fussy. All right, the paperback just thought of electronic books with their digital pages and bookmarks as lazy. Yeah, I guess that's derisive enough. I mean, I guess you're only going to quite get the whole idea if you listen to my discussion of that on the stream, but yeah, I just think that's the funniest. The funniest thinking is that the old ways are always better. I'm a little bit of a Luddite in that way. I definitely don't like working digitally, but that's how it's done. And if you want to get stuff done at any reasonable rate, any rate where you can actually get paid to do it, you're gonna have to work digitally. So that's that's where that is. And the paperback just out of electronic books with their digital pages and bookmarks as lazy. And whoops, click. Declaring yourself a fine wine when everyone knows your grape juice is quite an uncomfortable lifestyle. All right, let's spell checking, and I guess we're good for this week. Yeah, so an hour and 15. That's not too bad. I'm trying to keep myself under 2 hours. I think I got a few. Okay, there were a few. All right, a few early streams, especially I think the worse the ones with the poor audio quality that lasted way too long. So yeah, I hope this is enough to yeah, be interesting. And I gotta stop hopping in like that with it. Yeah. That's a really bad habit, and it sounds really annoying just listening to it with headphones. So no more yeah. And catch that. So hopefully there's less kind of room hum and noise this time. I'll see what happens when it actually gets cached onto the site, or saved onto the site. I'll give a listen to it and see if I helped that humming sound again, because it just may be something going to be hard to get around. But I'd like to have some cleaner audio, so it's nicer to listen to. All right, so we've got our fine grape juice. Declaring yourself a fine wine. Everyone knows you are grape juice. It's quite an uncomfortable lifestyle. And the paperback just thought of electronic books with their digital pages and bookmarks. I don't think I need all of this. Yeah, I think I'm kind of confusing the Yeah, I think the shorter is better in that case. The paperback just thought of electronic books as lazy. That works. All right. Wow. So that is all for this week. So I'll post information about the Kaigai manga and hopefully some photos from the show on Instagram and Facebook and that good stuff. So hopefully you can find it there, and I'll post the information where I'll be and pictures of the t-shirts and everything coming soon. So yeah, that'll be this week, and then hopefully I can get in the stream next week with some energy before the next show. And yeah, I wouldn't know how to do this mobily. I don't think I have a good way to do that. I don't have a laptop that would be in any condition to stream on, so hopefully that doesn't become necessary. And yeah, all right, so thank you for joining me, and yeah, hopefully see you next week, and keep an eye out for some new things and show information online. So until next week, thanks for joining me. Goodbye.